Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature. It is time for your Friday dose of obscurity in literature. Today, well, for some of you this may be really obscure, and some of you may not have any idea what this is, and some of you might find this awfully familiar. And this is the Yuuichi Hasegawa Crossbone Gundam Mechanical Exhibition. So, Hasegawa Yuuichi, interesting guy, has done a ton, and I mean a ton, of Gundam-themed manga over the years. And not only is he a very prolific artist with a very extensive background in mecha design, because he's done his own series on top of that, quite a few of over the years. He almost, I want to say, borders on like fan fiction for some of the stuff that he's done, and he has done quite a bit of fan-based doujin self-published stuff, not all of which is the most age-appropriate, which is why we're not going to really focus on that so much today. Hasegawa has actually released a couple of books through his self-publishing circle. I am not 100% off the top of my head, and I can tell you that some of the stuff in here is featured in that, along with his own original designs and some of his like redesigns of other mecha. It's not uncommon for some of his even Gundam themed stuff to have other Tomino robots show up in it. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure as of... Okay, it's relatively recent, 2021. Because I was going to say, these are all various Crossbone series that he's done himself. And so what this book is basically kind of like an updated Mobile Suit Encyclopedia, except it's only his stuff, which is kind of cool. I mean, this is not the thinnest of books, but, Mobile Suit Encyclopedias have been a thing for many, many years. These are kind of small. I'd say it's like, maybe a 3 by 6 or 7. I'm like, I say that, and I've got like a literal cutting board. 3 by 8. No, maybe 4 by 8, 3.5 by 8, something like that. They're relatively small books. But, back in the day, before the internet, this was literally the only way to really see a lot of the actual color reproductions of various suits from various series, but also the line art with size comparisons, ships and other schematics, cross sections, which I just passed somewhere. So, I mean, I've said many times on this channel, in fact, that I've been a big fan of various materials like this, especially kind of just background stuff. One of the very first books I can really remember buying with my own money, with my own job, many years ago, probably in the late 90s, possibly early 2000s, there were quite large mobile suit encyclopedias published at the time, and I feel like it maybe touched up to X or like the G-Unit model kits, and it was a cool book, and we literally would flip through it and stare at it until it fell apart. And I know they've had updated ones since then, but that was a good 20 plus years ago as it is. And I'd say there's been quite a few Gundam-related media since then. So again, it's kind of neat that this book is just nothing but Hasegawa's stuff. And I mean, so you do have some nice color illustrations. Thankfully, everybody in this book remembered to keep their clothing on, because that is an issue with Hasegawa's stuff. You have all of the main Crossbone units. Full cloth was quite spectacular. I think it first appeared outside of the manga in Super Robot Wars Alpha 2. At least that was the first time we had any of the Crossbone guys actually voiced, which was kind of neat. Phantom V2, and the Ghost Gundam here. The anchor. So just like the old MS encyclopedias, we do get a lot of the kind of schematics, designs, but let's be honest, that's all, all fun and games, but really what we're here for is the crazy, weird designs of the Jupitarians, because to me, that's where things get really weird and really wild. And it's funny because I'm looking at some of these and I just finished up one of the Super Robot Wars for the Switch that the Crossbone was in, and quite a few of these designs are in the game. There's just neat stuff. I was going to say, isn't that the Tortuga? Yeah. And things get really weird. I vaguely remember this one from the books. It's like as you get deeper in, they get even more interesting and comical and bizarre. But, you know, it's not like Gundam never had a precedent set for absolutely bizarre robots. I'm talking about you, Zaccarello. I'm just flipping here. There's plenty of interesting stuff. Bit of a Razafon. Some of this stuff almost looks borderline Zanscare. Or Macross. Or, I don't know. I literally don't know. Like, I haven't read some of these books. What the heck? Like, I have no idea what's going on with some of these designs. Some of them are just neat. I know I've seen people do something like this before with some of the various mobile armors. It's kind of fun. Get a quick index of everything right here. And then, again, if you've watched this channel enough, this is something I absolutely love. All the early rough designs. Transformations, how the equipment flips out, works out. Tons of that kind of stuff. Most of it seems relegated to the earlier series. The later stuff isn't in there. Then we have another break for more just, you know, nice color spot illustrations. And then we wrap things up with an interview. What he's been up to. And then we get the kind of early drafts of what's going on with the series, of which there's been quite a few. Again, quick overview of everybody in the book. And again, here's all of the various Crossbone Gundam series. There's been a few. Dust was 13 volumes. Ghost was 12 volumes. The original was only 6. So there's a fun amount of stuff to be had here. If you're a fan of Hasegawa's stuff, can't fault you for that. I mean, the man, like I said, has been a very prolific Gundam artist. I guess I've just been kind of, not soured, but looking at things a little bit different after having come across some of his other works while hunting this down, because I kind of figured he had other mechanical design books out there, and he does, but again, some of them are not the most family appropriate or YouTube appropriate, so I'll let you guys try hunting those down in your free time. But again, he's also done some borderline Super Robot Wars fan fiction type manga where it's just, you know, let's draw every, you know, robot we grew up with just because it's cool kind of thing. So a lot of fun to be had. Just keep an eye out, especially if you have impressionable children, because some of his stuff will leave an impression. But yeah, maybe the more appropriate ones. So anyway, with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities in Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.